me just pull this up here. All right. So as Julie mentioned, before we dive in, I'd like to begin by acknowledging that we live and work on the traditional territories of many Indigenous nations across Turtle Island. While we while we meet today on a virtual platform, we must recognize the importance of the land and our treaty agreements. At SCIO, we acknowledge the ancestral and unceded territories of all Inuit, Métis, and First Nation peoples. We reaffirm our commitment and responsibility to improve our understanding of Indigenous peoples, their cultures, and their histories. We recognized our shared and continued responsibility to honor, respect, and care for the natural world around us as it supports and grounds us in our everyday journey. As our Spinal Cord Injury Ontario community encompasses many geographies, we ask that everyone take a few moments out of their day to find out which unceded territory or treaty territory they live and work on. You can use the link www.nativeland.ca to learn more.
Okay, thanks, Brett. So thank you all for joining us this evening for our Peer Connections on comfort, confidence, and clothes, tips and tricks for life on wheels. So we have a great session planned. Like I mentioned, we have a series of videos made by myself, my coworkers, our peer support volunteers, as well as a tailor who has a business adapting clothes for individuals. So we'll all introduce ourselves first, and then we'll carry on with the videos. So since I'm already talking, I'll go first. My name is Julie. I'm a peer support coordinator for Spinal Cord Injury Ontario. I was in a car accident 25 years ago and sustained a C4-5 spinal cord injury. So I use a power chair and I have PSWs that help me with dressing in the morning and the evening. So I will now pass it to Brett.
My name is Brett. I'm a peer support coordinator based in Ottawa, Ontario. I've been living with a C5-6 spinal cord injury for 13 years. I function at a C6 level. Um, After 2 years of my spinal cord injury, I was able to independently dress myself and do all of my personal care beyond that point. It took me quite a while to get to that level of independence, but in my videos, you'll see how I use tenodesis to put pants on, jackets on, and sort of the tips and tricks I use to do my everyday dressing and the types of clothing that work for me and what doesn't work for me. And Bob, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Robert Tinsley. I'm the peer support coordinator for Thunder Bay, Sudbury, and Sault Ste. Marie. I'm a T12 paraplegic with 25 years in the chair. I use a power chair, and I'm mostly independent, but you get older and things change. Thanks very much.
Okay,
Mhm.
Amanda, if you want to go ahead.
Hi, everybody. My name is Amanda. I'm the owner and tailor at Tailor Aid. We're a pickup and delivery tailoring service, and we specialize with adaptive clothing. So thank you for inviting me to come join today.
Thanks, Amanda. Sorry, I want to say just one thing quick. I noticed in the chat box, someone asked about the raise hand feature. So for anyone that doesn't know, I'm on a laptop, so it's on the bottom. There's something that says react, and the raise hand feature is in there. Okay, so we can go ahead and start with the first video.
Sure. And just to, I guess, there we go. So we're going to start with bottom dressing. So we'll start towards, I guess, with pants and work our way up. And I'll make sure.
Hello everyone, welcome to my bedroom. As a quadriplegic, I rely on an adjustable bed. It both raises up and down, as well as the head of the bed adjusts up and down too. So when getting dressed, I rely very much on my adjustable bed. I can do it in hotels. It's just a lot more complicated, and for ease, I prefer using the adjustment. I guess second thing is whenever I'm getting dressed, I make sure to have my clothes ready nearby. So I'll typically get up, grab it from my drawers, leave it in my bed, or I leave it on my chair. So today I'm going to show you how I put my pants on. I apologize for my feet being sort of center of attention in this video. Um, my pants are all adapted by a friend, so I pick out the material and he creates the pants for me. So they've got a bit of a baggy butt and then the inseam's long as well. As well, it's an elastic waistband because I can't do zippers or buttons. So here's how I get my pants on. First, I lay them out. I'm gonna grab one leg first, cross it. I've got fairly tight grip, especially in the morning, so I do rely on that, but I don't have dexterity. So I'll grab one side, pull it on, and I'm using the back of my hand to pull up. If it's tricky, sometimes I'll lick it for some friction, pull up like that. I'll straighten my leg out. There, one leg done. And then I'm going to do the other. Again, I'm also grabbing onto my sidebar to help adjust myself. There. Okay, pull up. And then from this point, I mainly just use the waistband to pull up. So I rough back and forth. And I'm using tenodesis for this, so I've got the wrist extension. So I'll loop my hand in through the crotch and then tug it back around my bum. And I typically have to roll several times. There. I'll tug it up from the front. And then one more adjustment here. Oops. As you can see, it's not perfect. My right hand's a bit looser. There, and that is how I get my pants on. And, you know, sometimes the seam will be uneven, and I use my teeth quite a bit for really anything, so I will pull the knee with my tooth to readjust the seam so that it's not crooked. I'll do it on this side as well. There's how I put my pants on.
All right. If there aren't any questions, I hope people could hear my quiet voice. If there aren't any questions now, we'll move on to the next video. And if there are, or something comes up, we can ask that at the end as well.
There is a question in the chat room, Brett.
Sure.
It's off topic, I know, but where did you find a side grab bar that works with an adjustable bed, and how is it attached?
I'm able just to slip it under, so I bought mine from Wellwise. I know Amazon has quite a few options too, but yeah, the the bed rail, it just comes apart with little push buttons, and I actually use it to travel, so I can disassemble it completely, and I'm able to put it in a suitcase. So I actually bring that to hotels with me, and it stays underneath there because it's about like a meter long, and it just goes right underneath the mattress. So for me, I didn't really want a hospital bed, and I knew I needed that handrail, and I rely on it for my transfers and getting dressed big time. So I can put a link in, but you can find them really at any vendor. I know Amazon has quite a few options that are smaller too. And that M rail was about $80 just for price reference. All right, we will move on to the next video. Oh, I guess, no, sorry. Another pant that I recently found was Lululemon has an adaptive line. They created this after being the sponsor for the Paralympic Games last year, or yeah, in Paris. And they created a pant that has a longer inseam. There's a bend at the knee, and there are actually loops. I wasn't able to get a photo, but there are loops on the inside of the pant where you're able to stick your thumb through and pull up. So for me, I can get dressed quite easily in bed, but once I'm in my chair, my pants start to fall down from transferring. it's a little bit difficult for me to pull them up, and I'll actually have, family, friends, coworkers pull up my pants throughout the day, so I'm not, showing off my underwear or my bum. But what I like about these pants is they do have a loop on the inside that I'm able to use with my dexterity or lack thereof. And I've been able to adjust my pants, which was a big change. So there's a link to that. And they seem to be doing a new line each Paralympic Games. So right now the inventory is quite low, but they are probably the best pair of pants that I've recently worn. So I wanted to just share that.
I had no idea Lululemon had an adaptive line, so that was quite interesting to find out.
Yeah, and it was in response to the Paralympic Games. I'm hoping that for the Paralympic Games next winter or this coming winter, that they put out another line, but we'll see. All right, our next video is Julie.
So this is my video. So as I mentioned, I have PSWs that help me in the morning and at night. So I don't have any videos with myself, but this is something that I found very helpful.
I always had trouble finding pants that fit me correctly because my stomach is one size and my legs are another. So I did try maternity pants, but I didn't find that they fit me well in the waist and they weren't really stretchy enough. So I went to a seamstress and told her what I wanted. At first, she didn't really get what I was saying because she kept trying to tell me that they weren't going to look nice, but I just kept trying to tell her that it didn't matter. My shirts were going to cover it. So we ended up just cutting out the whole button and zipper and putting this nice stretchy material on it. So now I can buy pants to fit my legs and just have the stretchy material so that it stretches out so that it fits my stomach as well.
Okay, I know we've got another couple of videos that of something similar but different of how to, keep the waistband stretchy, but that's what I've done. So if anyone had any questions or anything, I'm happy to
There's
answer.
nothing in the chat. There's nothing in the chat right now, Julie.
Okay, we can probably go to the next video, Brett. So this is this is a London peer support volunteer that did this, Jackie. She puts custom zippers in her pants, and I think her video is pretty self-explanatory, so we can watch it. And if anyone has any questions, I can certainly try and answer them after the video.
Hi, my name is Jackie, and I am a C67 quadriplegic, and I use intermittent cathing. I am not strong enough to transfer to a toilet, so I cath in my chair. And the adaptation I've done over the years is I've had a seamstress put in a zipper into the crotch of my pants from side to side at the crotch seam. I'll give you an overall view here. I chose a wildly colored pair of pants so you could actually see the zipper, because normally I tend to wear black a lot, and I'll just show you a black zipper in a black pair of pants is barely noticeable. If we get up close, you can see the zipper in the seam of the pants. Here's the little tab. If you don't have good grip, you could put pull a ring into this tab, or a loop of thread or something to make it easier to pull. And this way you can cath in your chair. You don't have to pull down your pants. Makes that easier, a lot less work, plus a lot more discreet, because sometimes you can't get the bathroom door closed, or you're somewhere where there is no bathroom and you just have to use for example, behind the shed at my friend's farm. And that way you don't have to pull down your pants. You can just undo the zipper and catheterize yourself. I use a 9-inch or 21 centimeter zipper. I found that the best. 7 I found a bit too tight, and anything bigger was way down your legs and definitely not discreet anymore, and totally unnecessary. So you got to figure out what works for you. Even if you transfer to a toilet and take down your pants, a zipper like this on some of your pants for when you go to places where you know there won't be a decent bathroom would make your life easier. Yeah, that's what I do, and it just makes cathing a lot easier. Let's give you an overall view. This is the front of the pants. And any seamstress. Now, one of my friends, she also casts in her chair, but she has the zipper in the crotch seam from front to back instead of from side to side. So whatever works.
Okay, I've also seen people use Velcro as well as another option, if that might be easier for your function. But if there's any questions, like I said, I can try and.
So there's nothing in the chat, but I do have a question. When it comes to Velcro in zippers in those areas, is there a concern about them leaving marks or sitting on them and creating a pressure sore? Like, I'm sure it's dependent on the person, but I just wonder about that.
That is a good question. I don't know the answer. Yeah, Amanda, did you want to? Yeah, go for it.
As far as pressure sores, depending on where we're making an adjustment, especially if it's in a seam, um, Velcro sometimes is a good solution, but there is a very rough side to it, so sometimes that's not great. Sometimes snap tape is a nice option if we use like baby snaps. It's a little bit less risk of a pressure sore. It really does depend on the person and where it is, but there's certainly lots of options anyway. But yeah, Velcro's iffy and it doesn't hold up great in the wash. We do have to replace it fairly regularly, so that's another thing. But yes, snaps and zippers are usually a pretty good go-to.
Thank you, Amanda. Okay, Bob, you're up.
I've always looked for little doodads to make my life easier because every once in a while someone will suggest something to me, and this is one that I found that's really helpful. I've used invisible belts for quite some time, for several years actually, to turn any pair of dress pants, which is normally the type of attire I wear, into, stretchy. Because if I have a belt buckle in front and I reach down to check my catheter placement, it'll scrape the back of my knuckles up pretty bad after by the end of the day. The problem with invisible belts is a number of them have a metal adjustment buckle at the back, and I've just come across these ones. And they're only about $5 or $6 off of Temu for a pair, and they are basically double-sided Velcro straps with a stretchy section through the center, and you can loop them on, and they come in different sizes depending on the width of your belt loops, and they're really handy. And yeah, I'm glad to send anyone the link who thinks it might be useful.
Thanks, Bob. Okay, so this next one is from another one of our community members, Wallace. Melanie, his wife, is on the line. So there's two videos in this one. So if anyone has any questions afterwards, Melanie said she would be able to answer them. So we'll show the video first.
T6 Talk presents Wallace's new pants. Hello, Wallace. Would you like to say hello to everybody? And how about showing them your new green pants? So these new green pants have been altered a bit by the beautiful Amanda. You can see there's been a section that's been added to give more height to the back of the pants, and there's always lots of stretch in the pants that Wallace picks up, which is added to by having these elastic pieces put into the sides as well. That way they're super comfortable pants to wear. So there's reasons why he does these alterations. Number one would be his ostomy bag gives a little more room for some of that to be happening, and as well because of his belly, because he expands and contracts throughout the course of a day, and could be several sizes in a course of a day. So having this means one pair of pants fits whatever size he might be. So these pants he's wearing right now also have the elastics on the side, as well as having that extra panel in the back to make them go further up, which is better for his skin, and it's also makes it easier for him to hitch up his pants. Thanks, Wallace.
T6 Talk presents Wallace puts on his new pants.
Good morning. One of the issues about morning, other than still being tired, is I'm often in a lot of pain when I first get up. So what really helps with the pain getting better are these two fighting bastards right here that are having a grand old time, and if I'm not holding myself steady, they're only going to knock me right out of the bed. So, with my balance being so bad. So, hopefully not too much of a distraction, because they're warring. So, I start with my socks. So, see, I cross my legs over like this. That enables me to access my foot. I have to be very careful that I don't lean on this leg, because that's how one would break a hip. Or top of my femur after 37 years and lots of bone atrophy. The osteoporosis is pretty bad, so I wouldn't want to bust a leg. So I lean away from the leg and pull up my sock. And now when I'm leaning, I lean to the side, but I do not put any pressure on the leg. And how I do that is I straighten out the leg a bit so that it is not at that 45-degree angle. And when I'm sitting sideways, I'm not touching my leg. Okay, so sock number one. And then underpants, which I gotta make sure I'm not doing inside in. Sacks, underwear, I don't get paid for doing this little endorsement, but what's great about them, there's no lines in the back. So, no worrying about sitting on seams. And they've got a nice length to them. And they're soft. They're just lovely. And some of them come in different colors. Again, leaning over this leg, not touching the leg or putting pressure on it. I unfold the pants. I'm quite excited to wear these pants because I haven't been able to wear them for quite some time because of them not fitting, but I got them altered so that the waist is more elastic, and also lost a little bit of belly since I had my colostomy done. So there's leg number one. As you can see, I'm pulling my underwear, pull them up pretty much as high as I can get them. And I do the same with my pants. Pull them up. Now, what I do with my seam, my inseam on my pants, is I pull the leg up right to the pants here, the bottom of my leg. But I keep the seam on the top of my leg. Because I don't know what happens, but
Is that the inseam?
that's the inseam right here, right? Now that I do that because when I'm rolling back and forth, the pants tend to roll to the inside. I don't know what's going on with the physics of all this stuff, but if I don't do the seams to the top of my legs, then by the time I get in my chair, the seam is like way underneath, and the seams to the side are kind of on the top of my legs. So I pull them up in the middle, and then same. Pull them up to the middle, and then I roll to the side. Grab the underwear and pull them up as high as I can. Grab the pants. Pull them up. What I do is I put my head inside the pants and I grab them and I curl my head like this. And what it does is it pulls the pant leg up. I find it more efficient than just tugging on the waist. So I do that. Grab the waistband, pull it up here, and then comes the roll.
Thanks, Wallace.
So that was Wallace's demonstration. Oh, sorry, Mel, were you going to say something?
I'm good.
Did anyone have any questions about either of those two videos?
And I know that people were giving their level of injury. Wallace is a T6 complete.
Thank you. There is a question in the chat box. It says, can anyone recommend decent socks? My foot/ankle has edema and I cannot get my socks on without my PSW.
I can speak to that. You're going to be looking for diabetic socks or circulation socks, and they're going to be very, very loose. And you're looking for a phrase called non-binding, and those won't compress your tissue too much. But I definitely suggest speaking to a foot specialist in your area. There's Stride Orthopedics in here, and there's other ones in different communities, depending on the level of your edema.
Okay, thanks, Bob. You say thank you.
All right, we're moving now on to shoes. This is one of my peer support, or yes, no, community member in the Ottawa region. She'll be talking about the Billy Goat shoes.
G-Mintz. I was born with spina bifida, hydrocephalus. I've lived in Ottawa for 30 years, here in my apartment in Barrhaven. Most of my life I walked with crutches, but in the past 10 years my mobility has gotten worse, and so I've been having a hard time finding shoes to fit or to put on. And I found these Billy shoes and I just love them. And they come in so many amazing colors and sizes or styles.
So we're going to show you, these are the ones that Ange has purchased. She's got her winter boots ready, her dress shoes, and then these are her everyday shoes, which she has on. We'll show you how the Billy footwear is made. And the best feature is that there is a zipper all along the outer edge of each shoe. So you can see it zipped up. When you unzip and open it, it gives you full access into the shoe. So it makes it very easy for a foot to be put inside, and then you just zipper it back up. This was the problem we found with Ange's feet. She has short feet, and she also doesn't have a lot of ankle mobility to get into a shoe. So I'll show you here. We just bring the shoe, unzip it, and there you have her foot is in. We just need to place it inside and then can zip the foot up. And as Ange said, Ange,
Yes,
final word to you on Billy footwear.
I love them.
Great. Hope this helps somebody.
Those are the coolest shoes. And what a fantastic idea. I don't
They've
know.
got
Go ahead, Brett.
Oh, they've got quite a few models that are, more professional. There's darker colors for, men, women. They're promoted at the rehab center in our region. So, yeah, it's a great alternative for many different reasons. If people have pressure sores or just the difficulties putting the shoes on, and they come in many different kinds, and you can find them online.
It looks like in the chat, somebody had asked suggestions for winter boots and someone else said, look at the Billy shoes that they've got some great options for cool boots.
Mhm.
Now, I know that there's also my words aren't coming out, where you can have zippers put into boots. So if you find boots or footwear that you really like, that could also be an option as well.
Okay, Robert, you have something to say?
Yes, we have a comorbidity with diabetes people. They have diabetic neuropathy, so their feet and lower limbs are often slightly paralyzed and they have no sensation, but they're a much larger market because there's so many more people with diabetes than with spinal cord injuries. So a lot of the same problems that we have, they have. And so if you look on Amazon for diabetic footwear, they have, lined with plush. They have a single Velcro tab. They're extra wide or extra wide so as not to cause pressure ulcers. So those are good search terms when looking up is diabetic footwear or extra wide.
Great. Move on to the next shoe item.
So these are the shoes I wear because any other shoes I buy, for some reason, always hurt my heels. So these are lined with sheepskin, and it's nice that they've got the Velcro so they're easy to put on. And if my feet swell, because they're soft material, they allow my feet to be able to swell. So I can post the link in the chat box where I got these.
So I do have feeling, and for some reason, I've tried multiple shoes. I always have a problem with getting red marks and my heel being sore. So doing a whole Google search, came across these. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to find them in Canada, so they are from the States, so they are a bit pricey because of the exchange. But and I don't feel temperature, so although they look quite fuzzy and warm, I do also wear them in the summer, but because I don't really feel temperature, I can't tell. Like I'm sure my feet are nice and toasty, but I can't feel it. So the fact that they're that fuzzy is okay for me to wear them. In the summer, because they have a Velcro, they're easy to put on. And if I have my flare leggings on, they just kind of look like they're Ugg boots as well. So but they're very comfortable. I don't think there's any questions. We can go to the next video, Brett.
I used to have spasms where my legs or my feet would come off my pedals. So I sort of racked my brain trying to think of things that I could do to fix that, because for myself, when my feet come off my pedals, I am not able to get them back on. So I came up with the idea of Velcro. So I put one strip on the pedal of my chair, and I would put the other side of the Velcro, tape it to the bottom of my shoe, so that when I came down in my chair, we would line up the Velcro. And then that way, if I would get a bit of a spasm, if it wasn't too strong, the Velcro on my shoe and the pedal would stop it from coming off. And it actually worked quite well. So it's another idea for somebody that's looking for a way to not have their feet come off their pedals.
Yeah, so they're pretty self-explanatory. Like I said, it worked for me if my spasms weren't too strong. And I say I came up with the idea. I probably didn't, but Probably saw it somewhere on Google. Anyways, but it worked really well for me. I don't use them now that I have the kind of the shoes that I wear, but if I had shoes with a hard sole like that, it definitely did work.
Julie, I've got a peer support volunteer in my region, and he's actually implanted magnets in the bottoms of his shoes. He takes the sole of the shoe out, puts in a magnet, and then he also has one attached underneath his foot plate. He uses a manual wheelchair, and he's found that helpful as well.
That's a cool idea.
Yeah. I just wonder if you fall out of your chair, you get
Genius idea.
but yeah.
Your feet would stay.
Yeah.
That'd
Am
be
I
some
frozen?
pretty good magnet.
Any questions about these shoes?
There was nothing in the chat.
Right. Here's a video of me applying shoes with minimal dexterity.
Okay, now that I've got my pants on, I'm dressed, it's time to put on my shoes. Again, without finger dexterity, I choose not to wear shoes with laces. It's obviously something that I can't do alone, so I prefer just a non-lace-up shoe. I buy it in half a size up so that it's easier to get on, but it's also fit enough that the shoe doesn't fall off. So to start, I guess I put the shoe down beside me. Usually will put my shoes on beside a chair, that way I don't have to reach down. So first I hook my arm around the handle. I don't have any core strength, so by hooking here I'm not going to fall forward. I use, again, tenodesis. I use the back of my hand to pull my leg up. I get it up here, I fold it across, and then I pick up my shoe just through the hole. So I've got my fist in here, it's got a good grip. Here, I'll use sort of my finger tightness to keep hold of the shoe. Wrong shoe. Okay, right shoe. So here I'm really just relying on the tone in my fingers. And then to push the shoe on, I'll lift up underneath to get my ankle up. And then I just use the back of my palm to push the shoe on. It's good. I hook my handle again to pull my leg over. And then again, I'll do the same thing with the back of my wrist to pull this leg up. And same process. I do find getting dressed on this side a bit more difficult. There we go. I do have boots as well. It's summer right now. But yeah, I choose a shoe that it has a lot of grip on the bottom so that my feet are less likely to slip off my foot plate. And that's, I guess, just one tip or trick for shoes. Yeah, and I guess you'll also notice I don't wear socks. For me, I don't wear clothing that I can't put on independently. In the winter, I'll have someone assist me with socks, but I do live independently at home. So that's a choice. I don't know if it's the best, but for me, I sort of only wear clothing that I can put on alone. In the event of a special occasion, if I have a button-up shirt, I'll have someone help me with that.
I think just for context, before my spinal cord injury, I was also a gymnast. So my flexibility, my legs, I've been able to maintain that. So I know sometimes people might have issues with bending and crossing their legs. And similar to Julie, I do have some minimal sensation to detect some discomfort, but that's how I'm able to cross my legs so easily. Just admit this person. Next slide. All right, last one. We didn't have many submissions for upper body dressing. So I've just included my jacket here. In the future, I might include, more articles of clothing.
Okay, the last part of my outfit is my jacket today. I do have an adaptive jacket. It uses a magnetic zipper so that I'm able to clasp the zipper and pull up independently. For this, it's a little unorthodox how I put my jacket on, perhaps at least for me. So I'll drape my coat open over my lap, and making sure that the arms are dangling over the edge. And then from here, I'm going to loop my first arm in the jacket. I'm going to do it all the way. I'll use my teeth to pull the jacket on. And from here, I'm going to flip the jacket over my head and then loop my other arm in. So I guess my arm's partially in this sleeve of the jacket. I'm just going to throw it behind me like that. And then I'm going to pull my arm in, again using my teeth. And then from here, my handlebars, or I guess my jacket's stuck to my handlebars. So I'll reach back through the pocket. I always leave my pockets open. Pull here. I'll reach for the other pocket. Oh, wasn't stuck. There we go. Adjust myself a bit. And then from here, I've got the magnetic clasp, which can still be a bit tricky for me. As you can see, there, it's clasped. Now I can just loop in one finger. And voila, there's my jacket. My winter coat, I don't have an adaptive zipper yet, so I do need assistance with that, but there are zippers available online, and the seamstress can do that for you. So here's me getting dressed.
Full disclosure, that jacket is from Is Adaptive. We have a link to their website as well. And then I also just bought the loop myself. One thing about this zipper, it's magnetic. So the loop on my jacket, it has to be plastic. Typically, I have metal loops on hand to put on backpacks and other articles of clothing. So that's just one thing I noticed. If you do have that magnetic zipper option, you do need a non-metallic loop in order for that to be less complicated.
Is it much harder, sorry, Brett, to put on a winter coat? Like
It is. I haven't put in one of the magnetic zippers yet, so I maybe should have filmed a video of that. The way I put that jacket on, it's easiest if someone's around to help me, but if someone's not, I'll zip the jacket up halfway and then throw it on and kind of shimmy my way in and pull it down. I'd have to include another video for that. It's a lot less pretty and a lot more time consuming. So yeah, that zipper makes a world of difference for me, and it's something that you can buy online and have inserted by a seamstress. I just haven't gotten around to it, but yes, I can put on a regular winter jacket, but it is a lot more strenuous.
That's for next year's Pure Connection on the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, because I originally filmed this in the summertime, so I technically didn't need that jacket or the pants. So yeah, I will film a winter edition in the future.
Perfect.
All right, moving on to Bob.
I think Mel was going to say something,
Oh,
Brett.
sure, sorry.
It's so Leander asked, does not wearing a sock lead to increased swelling in your feet? I'm not sure if that's directed to the group or a specific person.
For me, I don't notice that big of a difference. My what do you call it? Hypotension. I generally have a bit of it, but I haven't noticed a big difference between wearing socks and not. Now that it's getting cooler outside, I do have someone else supply socks for me. I've tried all the different devices out there to get socks on, and I don't have the hand functioning for it, and it's yeah, I rely on support for that.
And there's also a person who provided a link to some slip-on shoes. She said, I got these last winter and wore them all season without socks. I can't feel anything in much of my left lower leg. My right foot felt warm all winter. I wanted to share in case this helps someone. So they're called Columbia Women's Omni Heat Lazy Bend Camper Slip-on Shoes. So that will be in the chat for anybody who wants the link.
Awesome, thank you. I'll look into that myself. Shall we move on to Bob's video?
Yeah. Hi, my name's Robert. I'd like to share with you a technique I found to make sure that my shoes always fit properly. Pressure ulcers from shoes that pinch can be quite serious. So what I do is, with them barefoot, on some butcher paper. I'll press my foot on the butcher paper with one hand down on my knee and get a PSW or a friend to trace around my foot to get an outline of my foot when it's spread out. That way I can get accurate drawings of my feet. When I cut them out of butcher paper, I can slide them into my shoe and feel with my fingers. If the paper goes up the sides at all, they don't fit. If the paper is bowed, they don't fit. That way, I can help prevent pressure injuries on my feet, which is very important. Thanks very much.
That's a great suggestion, Bob. For buying upper body clothing, I typically will bring like a favorite t-shirt, a favorite sweater, a favorite jacket for length comparison, so I'm not having to try everything on. I hadn't thought about that for shoes, so that's really fascinating. Thank you.
That's a great tip. And someone in the chat box said brilliant.
Thanks very much.
Right. One last video from Bob.
Hi there, my name is Robert Tinsley and I'm with Spinal Cord Injury Ontario. Now, dressing can be very difficult and challenging. However, it can become more challenging if you spend any length of time in a hospital like I did. I was able to dress independently quite easily, and then I spent about 13 months in hospital with a pressure injury. As a result, hospital staff would dress me every morning, and that was very nice and convenient, but what I didn't realize is that I would soon lose the ability to dress myself because my tendons got much tighter. It's something we didn't address. They were mainly focused on my pressure injury. So when I got out of the hospital, something I did to regain my independence is stretches that were designed specifically to get my independence back. The stretches I did were quite simple, and I still do them every morning. I grab my knee with my right hand to stretch my right leg, pull my leg up, grab my left leg under my ankle, put my right hand on top of my right knee, and slowly but firmly press down to get that nice stress in the tendons. And what that allows me to do is I can reach my foot with my other hand and take off my boots or take care of my feet, clean my feet and whatnot. And of course I do it with the other leg pretty much the same way. Lift up, turn over, and press my foot down. I give that about a 30-second stretch. And I do that every day because it's the most important stretch I can do to maintain my independence. Thanks very much. Have a great day.
Right. That's it for our video portion of tonight's Peer Connections. We're now going to have Amanda speak, and I believe she's going to be sharing her screen. So I will stop sharing mine for a moment here. Hello, everyone. I'm back.
Thank you very much. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I have a little slideshow for you guys. Is that working for you guys?
Yep, we can see it.
We're good? Okay. So as I said, I'm the owner and the tailor at Tailor Aid. We're located in Brantford, which is in the Hamilton, Ontario area. And I'm just going to give you a little bit of an overview of what we do here. Hold on. There we go. So I'm Amanda. I'm a retired PSW. I'm also a caregiver and a mom to a permanently disabled child. And I started this business in 2018. And it's great to go out into the community and help people find solutions for any dressing challenges. So what we do is we're a pickup and delivery service, which makes it much easier for a lot of our clients to get their tailoring needs met. And then we can create adaptive clothing from personal items so they can continue to wear their favorite clothes, which is excellent. They get to keep their sense of style, which is fun because sometimes ready-made options that you might be able to find, you maybe you want to wear something a little bit different. I have over 20 years as a tailor, on top of my PSW experience. We do a lot of stuff in the community. We do drop-in appointments at local retirement homes. It's like a pop-up tailor shop where I have a set time that I come and spend a couple of hours going to various apartments or rooms, which is always a great way to meet new people. Um, it's great for having a very relaxed and personal experience with our customers, and also being able to watch and monitor like how they're transferring and see um, if there's solutions that we need to come up with together. We also go out to local fairs. We've won some local awards for being accessible. And we also volunteer with some community theater groups and things. So we're out and about in the community. Um, how we work is pretty simple. You can contact us through the website or call or text to make an appointment. We ask that everything's laundered before we get there. We usually can schedule pretty flexibly. We have weekend and evening appointments sometimes. Um, we can really have some flexibility with that. And usually we book about a week or two ahead, and then we need a couple weeks to get your order together. Here's a few examples. You guys showed some wonderful examples. Thank you for those. And so as you're familiar with replacing zippers with Velcro, replacing buttons with magnets, snaps, Velcro, adding waistband extensions, making open back garments, which is great. And then of course, zipper, Velcro, also snap tape is great for anybody, amputees, people with various dexterity and mobility challenges. We can get really creative. Here's a few examples. Looks like this picture turned around, but this is a back panel in a shirt. So this is open back dressing over here. This is a zipper and a pant leg. We did this for a customer with a catheter bag. Just wanted to make it a little bit more accessible. We often use this for amputees as well. And here's another couple of options. Extended yoke adaptation. This is great for denim. Wallace really likes this. You saw that in the video, which is great because in this video, it's a plain piece of fabric, but people can choose what color fabric they want. This dress shirt here has Velcro instead of buttons, which is always nice. Sometimes the Velcro, if you wear it a lot, the Velcro does wear out when frequent washing. We find this a big challenge for people that are in shared accommodations where maybe their person who's doing the wash it's a little harder, especially in retirement homes and whatnot. So we usually end up using snaps if we can. And that's it. Here's some of our information. And yeah, any questions you have, let me know. I'll stop sharing right now. Thank you.
Thanks, Amanda. There is a comment in the chat saying this is fantastic. I live in Brantford.
Oh, well, nice to meet you.
Yeah. I think it's great, and I'm very glad that Mel introduced us. I don't know of anything in my area in London like this, but I've never really searched around because I didn't really know, that there are tailors that maybe do stuff like this and do home visits. So I think it's fantastic. Does anyone have any questions for Amanda? Nothing in the chat. Okay. She's sticking around for a bit, as we all are. So if you think of any questions later on, please feel free to ask. So these are some of the adaptive clothing companies that have sort of ready-made adaptive clothing. So I'm not sure if you've heard of any of these. I personally have not bought from any of them, but if anyone has any experiences. Brett, you mentioned that you got a coat from IZ Adaptive, but so you're more than welcome to click on any of these. These again will be posted in our email that you send out, so don't worry about having to write them all down. But if anyone does have any experience with them that they'd like to share, please feel free.
I'll see if I can put it in the chat, but hearing that you have problems finding things locally in Canada, Julie. There's a place called Egley's Sheep Farm next to us that makes a lot of medical booties out of sheepskin. The ones I wear indoors, you saw me in one of the videos. And they're reasonably affordable, and they're just like the same thing, natural sheepskin, hypoallergenic, very handy.
Well, that'd be awesome. Thank you. So now we're opening it up kind of to any of you, whether there's questions or if anyone else has any tips and tricks that they use on a daily basis or for dressing. We're more than happy to hear from anyone about what works for you.
Okay, we have about 25 minutes, and you can request to share your video if you'd like to show something in person, or if you'd just like to chat about your experience. We're totally open. Yeah, perhaps raising your hand so we can go in order. I see Leander has his hand raised, so we'll allow him to chat.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
I'll do a quick share screen and share some types of clothing that I've discovered that work for me. So I have quadriplegia, but I'm high functioning. I have good hand dexterity, so I generally I don't need to purchase any specialized clothing with specialized openings. But still, like most of us who have physical disabilities and are wheelchair users, our bodies change, and as a result, you have to find different types of clothing that now fit your new shape. So I'd like to share just a few of those. I think sharing's not on.
Can you do it now, Leander? No.
Yeah. Okay. Everyone can see this?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So there's a company called Kinetic Balance, and they make adaptive clothing. One of the most interesting things that they make, which I've never seen from any other manufacturer, is they make a leg blanket, but it's a rain blanket. It's non-insulated, it's specifically for the rain. I think this company's out of the UK. Unfortunately, they lost their Canadian distributor out in BC, but I recently made a purchase of their rain deck leg blanket, and then they also have a version if you're wearing shorts as well, which you could easily put over a pair of pants if you felt that you didn't need coverage all the way down. Something here. And so it's got a zippered pocket, water resistant. You can cinch it up. And it has a strap which goes around behind you to make sure that this part stays against your body, and then your jacket would go over it. What's nice is that it can actually come all the way down around your cushion as well. I mean, we could easily wear rain pants and be in a wheelchair, but then all the water would just drain off the pants between your legs and soak your cushion if you're in a heavy downfall, whereas this will completely cover your legs, come down around the sides, and protect the cushion from the rainfall as well. So I love these two items. One other really cool thing that they make is they make jackets. They're not cheap, but what's cool is their heavier duty jackets come with sleeves that are reinforced with some sort of Kevlar type material. So if you're a manual wheelchair user like myself and you're worried that you're eventually going to wear out the cuffs of your jacket through abrasion with either your tires or your push rims, this jacket is reinforced specifically for that for wheelchair users. So again, the company is called Kinetic Balance. Shipping is not cheap from where they're located in Europe. So if you're going to buy something, best to get everything that you're going to purchase at once, so you're at least minimizing the shipping cost. So And then obviously when you're a wheelchair user, because you're sitting all the time, your pants tend to ride lower in the back. So I've searched for a long time to find clothing, especially that serve as higher in the rise, so that when you're bending over, you're not showing people more than you want to. Another thing is a lot of us have experienced atrophy in our legs. If you That's something that you don't want to sort of advertise, then like me, you might be looking for shorts which go past the knee, even when you're sitting. And that is a rather hard commodity to find. We've been in a sort of short fashion cycle for many, many years now. But I was lucky enough to find this Endura short. So this short is actually intended for downhill mountain biking. So it's pretty rugged. It covers the knees so that I guess cyclists aren't getting whipped by, branches and stuff on your way down the hill. But the other nice thing about it is it's very high in the rise in the back. But not only that, the back of it is actually they have a generally a large elasticized section in the rear of the pant, so that when you bend forward, it stretches with you. And you think about the posture of a cyclist is always leaning forward. So it makes sense that pants for cycling would be higher in the back. And that just happens to be a feature which is really beneficial for wheelchair users. These shorts are not cheap. They can, run around, I think 140 from the UK, I think is where they're from. But they come in a variety of colors. And I've been wearing them for years, and it's the best short that I've found. They have pockets, they have venting on the sides to let cool air in. They come with an integrated nylon belt with infinite adjustability, but they also come with traditional loops in case you want to insert a belt of your choosing. So again, this is one of the best pants, or it's referred to as a three-quarter short, but it's made by Endura, so that's something that may be of interest to some people. Another
Absolutely.
short I found, sorry, long short that I found is by a company called Columbia.
Mm.
And although I didn't find it on their website anymore, it's still sold by an outdoor company in Canada called Sail Outdoors. And it's a very long short that will go past the knee when sitting. It's lightweight, so it doesn't have any thick seams that should irritate um, your skin. And it's referred to as, so it's made by Columbia. It's a Silver Ridge 2 men's capri pant. So often when you're looking for clothing or shorts that might be longer online, putting in things like capri or three-quarter pant might help you find them. Even though you might think of them as shorts, they could end up being in the pants section of a company's website. So those are search terms that you want to use if you're looking for longer shorts. And then there was some discussion around zipper pulls. A traditional zipper pull often is quite narrow here. It might be actually difficult to get your finger through the loop, but there are zipper pulls like this. This one I happen to find on Amazon. It's black, so it's not going to draw attention to itself. But because it's got this piece of rubber around here, it keeps the loop open, making it easier for you to get your finger through it if you're looking for an option to using a keychain ring or some other type of ring to access your pants. So those are some of the things that I've found. One
Thanks.
other device is it's an assistive device. Anyone looking that has problems with buttons, this is an assistive device I bought at Starkman's, which is a medical supply company. It's in Toronto, but I'm sure a lot of OTs are familiar with these, especially those that work in rehab centers. You simply stick the wire here through the hole where the button goes, grab the button with the other side, and pull it through. So this can be a useful tool for people that have limited dexterity. They're looking for an easier way to get buttons done up, whether it's a cuff button or a shirt button. So I just wanted to share those. Anyone who can't remember, didn't have time for any of the links to any of the clothing that I shared, you can obviously reach out to Julie and I'll give her the links to all these products afterwards. And then the last thing is in my hunt for pants that are high in the rise, which is really hard to find in this day and age of low rise and hip hugger pants. Um, any brand, their highest rise pant will usually be referred to as a classic fit. But the particular brand I found that makes the highest rise jeans that I've found in my years of searching is actually called LL Bean. And they have a really wide selection of jeans and other pants. And the rise in their jeans is exceptionally high. And they also make their jeans fleece or flannel lined if you're looking for something to keep your legs warmer in the winter and don't want to go to full on, snow pants if you're going to be spending an extended period of time outside. So LL Bean makes some really high waisted pants for men and presumably women as well. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Leander. We'll move on to Pip. He has
Hi, it's
their hand
Phil
raised.
here. Phil here, and incomplete para. Just for anybody that wears a suit and tie, I have missed wearing a suit and tie or a jacket and tie. So anybody could address that, where they get suits and ties from, or just I've missed it so much over the years, and would like to be able to get dressed up once in a while.
We have the perfect person for you. Our color.
Super.
Yeah.
Well, Philip, I believe I can answer that. I've started buying made-to-measure suits that aren't just um, and I can ask for whatever I want. I can say, well, I want the bottoms of the legs wide. I want the
Right.
rise in the back of the pants higher. And surprisingly, I guess because minimum wage in China is about $3 or $4, I generally get them through the tailors in Shenzhen or Suzhou. It's between 90 and $150 shipped to me in Canada, including duty.
Wow.
Yeah, and so that's where I'm getting a lot of. I mean, you never get the exactly what you want the first time,
Right.
but I've been, okay, well, it was $100. Well, I guess I'm going to try again, and I'll make adjustments to my.
That's amazing.
Yeah, yeah. If
Thank you.
I can, I'll put my email in the address, and I'll send you links.
Okay. That's fantastic. Thank you.
Using.
We have a slide too that will give Bob, Brett, and I's contact information too if anyone has any
Oh, great.
questions or anything. Yeah.
We've got two questions in the chat box. The first one is, how do people deal with sleeve abrasions?
I think that may have been when Leander was talking about something.
I can offer up one suggestion. So, and this is actually coming, my mother is a wheelchair user as well. And what she's done is she's actually bought some long black socks, cuts the foot off of them, and then pulls them up over the sleeves of clothing, especially more so in the wintertime, and thus protecting the much more valuable garment that she's wearing underneath them. There's also, I guess, sleeves sort of they come in black and different colors. They're usually a nylon or a stretchy elastic material, and runners will often wear them. And they will have some rubber on the inside to help them grip your upper arm and not slide back down. Um, so that might be another option. I just make sure that I don't wear long sleeve shirts unless it's got a really tight cuff, knowing that I'm going to abrade the clothing over time. Same with jackets. But if you have a winter jacket that has an elastic sort of cuff, but you still wear through it over the years, it's easy enough to bring it to a tailor and they have elasticized cuffs, or you can go get one at Fabricland in black or different colors and have them sewed on so that you don't have to discard that garment just because the cuffs have worn out. But I exclusively only wear long sleeve garments that have a tight elastic cuff, nothing that snaps up, because I know that I'll destroy it over time and much faster than I would a garment that had a tight cuff.
Thanks, Leander.
And the second question in the chat box is, Any issues with bum zippers pressure-wise? I think that was in reference to the pants that Leander showed earlier. I think.
Yes, it had to do with the metal zippers that were on the backs of the pants. I just wondered if there was an issue with sitting on that.
Sorry, if it was any clothing that I showed, I haven't had any problems with the zippers, but I have touch sensation, I have limited pain sensation, and I've never really had any skin issues. So I have those sort of safety nets. I don't know if it would be an issue for someone else. It's something you'd have to judge on your own. But I have had pants where there has been a prominent zipper on the back pockets, and I've just you can have them removed and have the garment material stitched back together. So there are options to eliminate that if it's still an excellent garment just minus that one characteristic.
Okay. I know another thing a lot of people do, if you buy pants that have pockets, you like not necessarily with zippers, just plain pockets, you can get one of those. I'm not sure, Amanda, if there's a name for the tools, but those little tools that you can use to just pull the
Stitch ripper.
Yeah, and just take the pockets right out so you don't have to deal with seams or anything.
Yeah, I got a local seamstress to sew mine shut, not only so it's lower profile, but also so I don't accidentally hook my thumbs in it when I'm in my manual chair and break a thumb pulling my wheel forward. And those tend to be handy, and I get the buttons removed and the same treatment done on the back. Local tailors are a great resource. I appreciate you coming out, Amanda.
Yeah, pockets are they can be very individualized and we can add them. I've had a couple of wheelchair users, they couldn't use their pockets on their pants, and we actually added a pocket down on the thigh. So the pocket was on the thigh of the pant, so much lower, so they were able to reach it. Um, of course, depending on the angle, we have to add something, depending on the pant. Sometimes we have to add something so things don't fall out of the pocket because it's on a different angle. So we have to put a flap or something. But it's been a pretty common request. So yeah, don't be afraid to ask your tailor to get creative with you because there's lots of different solutions. So absolutely.
Thanks, Amanda. Phil, is your hand still up or do you have another question? You're
Phil,
just
muted. Sorry, Phil. Still muted.
no problem.
Yeah.
There we go. Sorry about that. Having all sorts of troubles trying to get it unmuted.
Okay.
I've been dealing with a company called 686. That, surprising enough, they're a snowboard company out of California, and they make some fabulous clothing that it's probably unintentional that they made it, but it's I don't know if you can see this or not, but it just goes, the zipper goes way up under from the waist right up under the sleeve there, and it's this type of jacket here. One second here. See, it's this style here. It's a pullover type of jacket, and I've been using these for the last about 5 years or so. And they have a kangaroo or a pouch in the front too. They're not heavily lined, but with the use of a good sweater or another hoodie, they're quite warm and they're very waterproof too. And they don't ride up in the chairs, which is a real nice thing too. Because as you know, lots of stuff tends to ride up our backs, and that's my experience. But that just zips right up under the arm, and it's really easy to get it on and off. And they're fairly reasonably priced too. They're not crazy. You can buy. They have a Canadian website that you can order from directly, and they do have lots of retailers and ski shops and stuff.
Thanks, Phil. We'll look that website up and we'll put that on.
Yeah, it's 686.com, and that's yeah, it's fantastic stuff.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, we'll be sure to get that on our resource list and send that out. Looks like there's another question in the chat box. So wide selection of grippy winter glove can be found at Mech Mountain Equipment Company and Sail Outdoors if you want a leather or rubberized palm. That's good to know. Thank you, Leander. Again, another company that we can put on our resource list. Bob.
Something else I wanted to share that I saw Julia mentioned about the Velcro and Brett, the magnets, and I thought these are great ideas. Something I found that's really cheap and kind of handy is skateboard skid tape. You can buy a roll of it, 30 feet long off Amazon for $15, and I put it on my footrests. And when the grip starts to wear down, it's just the adhesive comes right off, and you put more down, and it's really handy.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Okay, Phil, your hand is
Yeah.
still.
Sorry, I did have a question, or not a question, a comment. I just found a new company called Fist Gloves. They're not lined, but they are fantastic for manual wheelchair use. They're absolutely brilliant. They fit really good. You can get them off Amazon, and there's a place in Vancouver that sells them online too, but they're a little cheaper shipping off of it's the same business, but they sell on Amazon also, but it's a little cheaper shipping if you buy them through Amazon. And it's called Fist Hardware, I believe it. They're out of Australia, I believe. And they come lots of designs and stuff, but they're the best glove I've been able to find in years for the manual wheelchair. So they fit really well and good grip on them.
Okay. So Fist, F-I-S-T.
Yes, F-I-S-T, and it's I believe it's the website is fisthardware.com. Yeah, it's fisthardware.com. Or sorry, Fist Handwear. Sorry, Fist FIST HANDWEAR.com. And they're absolutely brilliant.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, does anyone else have anything they want to share or any questions they want to ask anyone? Bill, yeah, go for it.
I guess I'd like to know if I've got a suit jacket that I really love. Is there any way of adapting that for me? Like do they put panels in the back at all, or that's my question.
I guess it would depend on what type of disability and what you're looking for from it. I have found a few different things. I've found that single-breasted, drapes better than double-breasted. I've found that the side vents, the double side vents, seem to help the front skirt lay better on my waist than a single back vent or no vent, like in a tuxedo. Yeah, I guess I would have to know more about what you want from a suit jacket.
I think, Bill, I think if I'm understanding you correctly, Bill, you have a suit jacket that you love, and you haven't been able to wear it, and you want to modify to wear it. So, Amanda, I don't know if you could speak to that.
Yeah, this is certainly a situation where a tailor would have to see it on you and see you in your chair and see where that fabric is bunching or where it's not comfortable at all. And then maybe we need to change the hem, maybe we need to add something. Generally, suit jackets are pretty adaptive. As long as the shoulders are fitting pretty good,
Yep.
everything else we can adjust. It's as long as the shoulders is sitting where it needs to sit, um, we can change how it hangs. So, um, yeah, it would really be a trip to a tailor who can look at it and play around with, pinning it up and seeing how it lays just to make it more comfortable because you probably need some different fabrics. You need some adjustments for sure. But
Hmm.
yeah, a tailor would have to see it on you because it all depends on the cut of the blazer for sure.
Okay. So if I bring an armful down to you, you might take a look at that.
So I do not have a physical location. I only do pickup and delivery. Um, it's to so that I can go out, um, have more accessibility that way. Um, but I only go so far, so it only depends on where you are.
It's St. Thomas.
You,
Oh,
you can come to my place, Bill, and do it from here,
Oh,
buddy.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Absolutely.
Okay. That makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's and that's why it's so important that I do the pickup and delivery and I do that in-home assessments because I can see even just making sure that people can still transfer safely with the alterations and all those sorts of things.
Right.
So, um, and it's more comfortable because you're in your own space. You're not in a public area where somebody might come in or rush you. So it makes it much more pleasant for both of us.
Okay.
So, yeah,
I'll I'll arrange something and then Phil can help us out.
sounds good.
Thanks.
Thanks, Bill.
That's what exactly our peer connections are for,
Oh,
making
this is
networks and
amazing.
connections like that. It's perfect.
I loved how that.
Um, does anyone else have questions or a story to share? Maybe one last story? Or Leander.
Um, I noticed that all the dressing demonstrations took place in bed. And when I went through my rehab 20 years ago at Toronto Rehab Lyndhurst Center, that's how the nurses were teaching me. But it was after talking to some of my peers that I ran into in the rehab center during the 6 months that I was there and maybe beyond, that I found out that some of my peers were getting dressed in their wheelchair, which didn't occur to me at the time because I thought my nurses were more knowledgeable in teaching me the right way. But for some individuals, getting dressed in bed is the most effective, least time-consuming method. But for others, getting dressed in the chair can be faster. And that was the case for me with my mobility device and my level of mobility. Um, Another thing that took me a little bit of time to figure out is uh, I have a lot of tone in my legs. So unlike some of the demonstrations we saw in the videos, my limbs are not sort of kind of, floppy and easy to manipulate. I have a lot of tone in my hamstrings, so I really have to fight it to get one leg over the other so I could get access to my foot. So I prefer not to have to do that many times. So I learned from that,
Mhm.
and I realized that when I've got one foot crossed over my other leg, now's the time to do every single thing that you need to with that limb so that I don't have to be doing that multiple times. So it's sock, pant leg, shoe, do up the laces, put it down, get the other leg up, sock, pant, shoe, do up the laces, get it down. So you're only having to heave that leg up one time on each side and not multiple times. And when you're first learning it, that might not occur to you. So taking advantage of the fact you've got that limb up there to get everything on that leg at once before putting it back down can be really, really handy. So just wanted to point out that there's different techniques to getting dressed, both in the chair and in bed, and getting everything done with one limb, so you don't have to manipulate multiple times. Can also save you a lot of times because that's really the big headache. Is it's much more time consuming for us to get dressed now as a wheelchair user than it used to be when we could move our legs and when our bodies function the way that they used to. So
That's a really, really excellent point because a lot of people are, like you said, being taught how to dress from a caregiver's perspective, and it's not always with your independence in mind. So, what works better for somebody dressing you isn't what's going to work best for you to be independent. And sometimes it hinders your creativity in trying to be able to come up with other solutions. So, that is a challenge that I see quite a bit is sometimes there's a solution that the person who's wearing the clothes didn't know they could have that gave them a little bit more independence because they were so used to being dressed by another person. So it's a very, very valuable point.
Yeah, I appreciate Lander bringing that up again about, alternatives to getting dressed in your chair. In an ideal world, we were hoping to include some of that in our content tonight. We just didn't receive any submissions, so our Peer Connections was reliant on what was submitted. So at the end of this, we'll mention how, in the future we'll include that. But I'll go to Melanie and then Nicole.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that with Wallace's video when he was getting dressed in bed, we had to speed that up because it was like 13 minutes long. But in it, he talks about the fact that for a lot of years, it's only recently that he's getting dressed in bed now. But that's just with age and how things change. But he used to very readily get dressed in his chair. And I think that also has to do with being like 37 years ago in rehabs, they taught you a lot more independence because you had more time at a rehab. And I think that's why having these sorts of sessions where peers can talk, it's so important. And it's so important to get people as soon out of rehab as possible so that they can start seeing what people in the community are doing. So thank you.
Thanks, Mel. Nicole.
Hello. Um, I don't I'm I don't know how to put this eloquently, so please forgive me. Um, I'm in a situation where I'm currently only have use of one leg. Um, having a little bit of well, a lot of help. And so I'm still trying to use the bathroom as much as possible. So I'm finding every time we're getting out of the chair, pivoting, and we're trying to get my garments down, everything's rolling into a ball. And um and it's back trying to get dressed, your underwear or even your sports bra. They do just seem to tangle up into this ball. And between this, we're having difficulty unraveling to get it on properly again. Is there a simpler, am I missing something?
I see Amanda looks like she's thinking. I don't know if any of those adapt, like if you, Nicole, I don't know if you've ever been on to any of the kind of the websites that we just showed that have adaptable or adaptive clothing already. If you've looked to see if any of those would maybe give you some ideas of what could work
A
for
lot of my clothes is custom made by me in the past and for other issues. So, so no, I haven't looked, and yeah.
I just wonder if maybe looking on any of those sites could give you an idea of like if you see how they do things, if you think it might work for you. Amanda, I see you've
Yeah, sometimes looking at the ready-made accessible clothing can give you some ideas because you can also take those ideas and take them to a tailor or somebody that you know that can sew and make those adaptations to something you love to wear. Um, but it could be a good place to start just to get some ideas of maybe changing where a fastener is or there's so many different options. So yeah, definitely go maybe do a little deep dive in those the catalogs of ready-made adaptive clothing, and there might be a few ideas for you to try.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Nicole. So just looking at the time, oh, hang on, one more. comment in the chat box. Men will often go commando after they become a wheelchair user to reduce the amount of clothing to manipulate. Very true. Yeah. Females too, maybe if you don't want to worry about seams or any of that kind of stuff also. So thank you for that. Oh, Bill, yep. You're muted, Bill.
What happened? Oh, somebody's manipulating the screen?
Yeah, Brett just put up this is, just our contact information.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
It's throwing me off my train of thought. Don't say it, Phil.
It's okay, buddy.
It'll come back. I'll pause on that thought.
Okay. So Brett had mentioned that kind of what we're thinking of is doing this as an annual peer connection topic, and we would love to get as many videos as we can of people with different injury levels giving their tips and tricks. I know, Leander, you had mentioned you could do a dressing in the chair video, which would be awesome. So we'd love to do it annually as a topic for our peer connections, and we'd also love just to get a resource, like a good resource of videos, so that if we have any clients or community members that are looking to, you know, have issues with dressing, that we can go to our kind of reserve of videos and show them. So please feel free. If you have anything you want to show, Brett just had all of our contact information up. You can send it to either one of us or to your local peer support coordinator. We also have our peer program. So if anyone is interested in talking one-to-one with someone with a spinal cord injury that either dresses on their own or has helped to dress, we can definitely hook you up and connect you with one of our peer volunteers. So you can kind of have that one-to-one chat with someone as well. So I don't know, Bob or Brett, if you have any last minute things to say, or
Did Robert say he was going to post his email there so I could send it to get some information from him?
yep. If you want to
back.
Oh, sorry, Bob.
I must have missed it. Sorry.
That's okay.
I'll post it again.
Oh, thank you.
No problem.
It'll also be in the email that comes out after the session as well.
Oh, okay. Okay, perfect. Appreciate
Do
that.
they do women's clothing?
Oh, made to measure?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. They're I don't know why, but in Southeast Asia they've hung on to the hand tailoring tradition, and yes, you can get. I mean, you generally, when you look for things, it's people's ball gowns or quinceañera dresses or wedding dresses and stuff like that. But anything, if you have a picture, you can send them, they'll make it. If you have a description, just words, they'll make it. If you have a drawing or just an idea, they'll make anything you want. But things made one at a time are often less than perfect the first time. So it's they you know, it's great to have a local tailor and get the main garment made abroad, and then have a local tailor adjust it if you want sleeve length or something interesting or something detail modified. I hope that answers your question.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nicole. Thank you so much for everyone for joining us. Thank you, Amanda, for coming on. Thank you, Bob and Brett. Like, I just love working with my coworkers on these kind of things. Thank you to Mel for kind of being in the background in some of this stuff. And thank you for sharing your stories and asking your questions. Like Brett said, this is why we have our peer connections, just to share information and learn from each other. So thank you so much. And we hope to see you at our next peer connections.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you so much, everybody. It was awesome. So helpful.